For 80 years, Sao Paulo has held one of the world's greatest racetracks, and it has been a mainstay in both international and Brazilian motorsports for those 8 decades. Today, the Classic Indycar Series races out from Interlagos. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Nolan Rempel alongside Gary Godso. We're bringing you all of racing action from round 3 of the PRS Classic Indycar Series in 2025. Gary, it is, of course, the PRS Sao Paulo Indy 300. 71 laps of racing action getting set to kick off from this absolutely fantastic circuit. The real world raced on a street circuit in the middle of downtown. This afternoon, it's a trip out to one of the most famous racetracks in the world, and I would say definitely within my top 10 for grade A circuits.
It really helps that number of times this has ended the World Championship in very dramatic fashion on the for the Formula One series. But good to be here. IndyCars never have raced here for real, but they have raced in the neighborhood, so to speak, and they have raced down in Brazil a number of times, as well as in South America in general. We'll talk about that during the broadcast, but I'm real excited about the pretty close points battle that we got going into the race here. We only have a couple races into the season, but no one is allowing anyone to run away and escape right now. Cameron Dance just leads by 2 points over Logan Simmons, and Johnny Garrett just about 9 points or so behind that. So the top 3 separated just by mere 10 points. That's a pretty good way to start the season, with a lot of parity and making sure that everybody is still in touch with one another in the early stages, so we can decide this championship in Indianapolis and how it should be decided.
Of course, drop weeks have not yet come into play. That will start to come in from race 4 onward, as it will be the worst 3 results being dropped over the course of the season. So Cameron Dance will still lead, and he only has that 2-point lead as a result of 2 bonus points from dominating the race down at Phillip Island just about a month ago now. But let's get to Interlagos, right? It's one of those famous tracks that just feels different whenever we get down here. It is a fantastic day, 13 kilometers of air blowing off to the north, partly cloudy skies, and 38 degrees Celsius on the racetrack, so it's a pretty hot racetrack out there. 23, of course, in the air. Low humidity should lead to a good race this afternoon.
And for those of you in freedom units, that translates to 74 degrees Fahrenheit on the ambient and 100 on the track temp. And when you start getting in the triple digits on the track temp, that's where we're going to see the degradation of the tires. And begin to wonder that when these guys start making pit stops, are they coming in because they need fuel, or they're coming in because they've had enough of the set of tires that they're on?
That's, of course, going to be the big ticket question this afternoon, is how do drivers cope with that tire deg, especially on the right sides, this track is extremely harsh on tires, right? You look to Curva do Sol, right? Turn number 3, right out of the Senna S, being one of the big hitters for tire deg on the racetrack. Of course, Decido del Lago, 2 more high-speed right-handers, and of course, Juncel all the way out from 12 to 15, back down the pit straight. Those right sides are going to be hurting by the end of the night.
Yeah, all high-speed corners. This is a counterclockwise track, so you get high-speed corners pretty much continuously from 13, 14, 15, then high braking down to 1, and then you talked about turn 3 with a bit of a long straight down into turn 4, which is a bit of a passing zone. And then we kind of get into the twisty and technical portion of the track starting at turn 5. Where we're kind of down below the grandstand area, and then we go back uphill again at 12, 13, and you're going to see them really cranking on that wheel, turning left, and it's about as much turning left as they're going to do on any road course this season, and about as much turning left they're going to do all season long, including on an oval.
Running on board, Cesare Monsato going to give a fantastic look at this massive drive up over the hill. Down into turn number 1, obviously going to be, I think, the passing zone to watch this afternoon. It so often is, right? And I feel like it's going to be absolutely no different this afternoon as we're in the closing sections of this warm-up session. Punching just shy of 300 kilometers an hour, around 276, where he jumps down and slams on the binders into turn number 1 and then sets himself up for the next portion of the lap. Lap times roughly a minute 17 for the qualifiers. Now a minute 19 once you get the tires starting to wear off just a little bit. So short lap times will probably make for a short race.
Yeah, and just remember, This is road course racing versus oval racing. That when we were on the oval at Motegi, we got to the time limit. You're not going to see so much that on the road courses because most of the cautions are going to be local. Although in the past, and we have been told this by the admins, that there have been full course cautions here, so something to look out for, especially going into turn 1. And all these cars, again, are pigs on road courses. They do not like to turn. And we can see a lot of people barreling down in the 1, missing the braking zone or piling up. And that might pop up the first full course caution. But no, I don't think we're going to see a lot of them today. It's just the nature of iRacing on road courses.
Well, with all that said and done, starting grid coming at you in just a few moments as we will roll on out from Interlagos. And starting on pole position this afternoon, it is going to be the likes of Thomas Mustinen up on the top of the points boards alongside Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports' Cameron Dance. Row number 2 of the grid going to be Team Watson Racing's Ethan Hagen alongside Icon Motorsports driver Willie Schwabauer. Row 3 then going to hold Team Watson Racing's Florian Gaud, already 3/4 of a second off of the market, then almost a second back is North Sim Racing's Cesare Manzato in 6th. Row number 7 going to hold Johnny Garrett from Aero X and Lucas Santos for Screeching Moose Motorsports. Sorry, that is row number 4. And row 5, rounding out the top 10, going to be Vortex Sim Racing's Jan Hoffman and Powerslide Team Chimera's Jamie Wilson.
My man Andrew Wood back in row 6 next to Pit Cannon. The host with the most, Mr. Grosser, back in row 7 right next to Shoemake, McBean and LaVille. Back in row 8, Stum and Aitken back in row 9. That should be a pretty interesting battle to see Stum work his way up forward. And then back in row 10, we got Barkenau and Stanley with no time.
No time for Marshall Stanley this afternoon, and it's going to be the same story throughout the rest of the grid with VJO for Iconic started at 21st. Team Watson Racing, Sebastian Kinder started in 22nd. Adam Ecker for Iconic going to be in 23rd with Aero X's Jack Turner in 24th. Logan Simmons down to 25th with Stefan Mellis for Bounty Hunter Racing in 26th. And that will close out the 13-row grid this afternoon. Quite of EOLs to be of note here this afternoon, with drivers being sent kind of to the tail of the field in this one, and that is why we see so many cars not putting down times. Those rear grids go for Mellis, Eckert, VJO, Marcamini, and Simmons, with Sebastian Kinder having to start his race from pit road.
Pit road cars, they're at a disadvantage in the real world, but sometimes in the iRacing, with so much carnage and stuff sometimes on these first laps at road racing, that starting from pit road might be a safe sacrifice. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. You guys go right ahead.
Especially with the early race chaos that we've seen in the good in a good bit from these guys as well. Jack Turner looking like he did not make the call. Neither did Marshall Stanley, so we are down to just 24 on the racetrack, with Kinder sitting down in pit road awaiting the pit road start. So the iRacing pace car going to make its dive down and into pit road. We're happy that you are joining us for racing action here on this fantastic Sunday morning / afternoon / evening race, whatever times you happen to be watching us from. We're going to enter the starting grid. It's go, go, go from Interlagos, and a great getaway from Thomas Mustinen down to the turn number 1. The field fanning out behind, trying to see who makes it through and if we're going to have any problems coming through the salvo of corners. Looking like we managed to get through the Senna S and cover the Sol clean. Now the big run down towards Descida del Lago. Bottom of the hill, Cameron Dance trying to go the long way around. Mustinen fends him off into turn 4.
Everybody cleanly through 1, 2, and 3. Those are the big corners. Now we're starting to get single file. Now we're into the more technical, twisty portion. That's my technical term of it. Technical, twisty. In the downhill, it's a little lower portion of the racetrack. So there is changes in gradient here, and this is the lowest portion of the racetrack, and you'll see them start going back up here, hill here, right about turn 11, 12, and 13.
Looking like potential problems here for the likes of Jack Turner on the opening lap, and this is what happened to Turner as the driver of the number 5. Sorry, no, he actually had a pit road start as well, so he started his race down from the pits. Coming across to lead lap number 1 is going to be Moosten, and with again Cameron Dance trying to go the long way around into turn number 1. No dice this time by Moosten, and maintains the run, and Egan is not allowed him to get away either.
And the top 3 are kind of separated themselves a little bit. Got to ask yourself, how hard are they pushing up here, considering we expect the tire deg to be more than normal, especially with the hotter track temp. And the track temp still hasn't changed from when we were in warm-up. It's still at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So if that gets hotter, that's going to, of course, increase the track deg.
Oh, hello. Trouble, a couple of cars off here. Andrew Aitken going off along with Stefan Mellis. So 2 of the drivers, I think, that got sent to the tail of the field, having problems here, and that's given Stefan Mellis a meatball flag.
Oh, Mellis into the side of Aiken. Side checked him pretty good. Don't think he meant to do it.
Boy.
Don't think he meant to do it.
Got him right back, too. Oh boy, a lot of excitement here in the opening stages. Moosten continues to pull clear with Dance and Egan just a little ways behind. There's the battle for 4th, 5th, and more. All the way back through this field. Moosten with the fastest lap so far.
Bit of a train forming behind Johnny Garrett. It's a battle for 6th. We got Manzato, Santos, Wilson. We see Andrew Wood taking a peek to the inside. That's not Andrew Wood, that's his teammate. Jamie Wilson taking a peek to the inside of Lucas Santos.
Lauren Goad maintaining his run, and now we have potentially more issues deeper the field. Andrew Aitken still with that rear wing damage, and has VJ. Whoa! Off the track there goes Adam Eckert. Keeps it off of the wall. But a wild snap there for Eckert on the exit of, I think that was turn 4.
Yeah, 4 and 5 complex there, and he caught a little bit of the curb, the rumble strips there, and snapped the car around. Of course, he rejoins, and there's other drivers still at full speed behind him. Almost just another incident there, I think, with Jack Turner.
And there was Kintner going into the back of the Iconic Motorsports number 18, the driver that just spun out as well. So maybe some rear wing damage.
Aiken having a hard day.
And Aiken's day going from bad to worse this afternoon. A lot of rear wing damage. Now Cesare Manzano has found himself sideways and into the final, into the first corner.
And he's not in a good spot at all. He's trying to back up, and he's in a tight squeeze there. So he's going to have to, as they said in the Indycar broadcast, Austin power his way out of that thing.
Down in 20th place as a result, and did that all to himself.
And Mustanen set another purple lap last time by 1:18.2.
Oh man, and now Santos off the road, spinning out the Screechless Motorsports. I'm sorry to cut you off again, but
okay.
Boy, we are just having everyone having problems here in the opening sections.
Well, look where he is on the racetrack. We're out of a slow speed corner. He's getting under acceleration. And remember, these cars, and we saw it on the ovals, with the high end, low end, the high low end torque that these have. That you see him even spin out on restarts on ovals. We've done him another purple lap as he's up front. Wow, he's setting them one after another. So you're going to see under acceleration zones a lot of those same issues with the high torque on the low speed corners. A lot of wheel spin there.
Overall, the battle for 6th. Under a pretty hefty blanket right now. Johnny Garrett, Jamie Wilson, Andrew Wood, Jan Hoffman, Hans Pickenen, and Robert Groscher, all within about a second of one another here as folks do their darndest to just try and keep some pace up here and keep within the battle packs up the road. We're starting to already see guys entering these little drafting trains, right? I mean, everybody's out here trying to extend limits wherever they can. Everybody's trying to get whatever slipstream they can. I think Cameron Dance may have lost the draft, and if he has, That means Mustonen is in prime position to just take off and once again dominate another road course.
Well, there is going to be a degree of fuel saving going on if they want to make this last stop a very short and brief one. We know at least 2 full stops, and that is on minimum numbers. That is of when the window opens. We are anticipating the window opening for first pit stops right around lap 28, so they still have a ways to go. It's always easier to save fuel early in the run, so maybe some of these people back in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th are probably trying to save a little fuel in the process.
Twin Vortex Sim Racing teammates here starting to duke it out amongst each other. This is the battle between the pair, and you can tell right now Robert Groscher has been kind of struggling to keep LaVille behind him. I mean, LaVille is right now on a pretty solid charge, all things considered, trying to run down the driver, that number 11.
LaVille up 4, but a shout out to the guy behind him, Logan Simmons. He's already up 11 spots.
You cannot underestimate Logan Simmons, right? I mean, like you say, up 11 positions already, and having a great outing for him as well. So Logan Simmons, up 11, again, had to start his race from the tail of the field, but right now he has the most spots gained by far out of anybody. The next close one being to Lucas LaVille, and Mustonen again resets the fastest lap.
118 flat. You'd be expecting the tires going away, and they're not. It's just he's getting better and better. Kind of reminds me of how the Lotus 79 drives a little bit. The longer it goes, the faster it gets. That's typically not the case always with IndyCar, but today he is 6 laps into his opening stint here for the race, and he's set fastest lap 3 times already.
Pass for 11th into turn number 1 as Vortex Sim Racing teammates Luke LaVille and Robert Groscher going to swap positions. LaVille going to put himself up in front. Now we'll see if he can run down the German just a little ways up the road. And while that was going on, Jamie Wilson had this pass on Johnny Garrett out of turn number 4. Bold move for him. You don't often see moves being successful there, and Andrew Aitken has just been given a black flag.
Yeah, sometimes you need to get those passes where you can. And you don't get a lot of them down in that technical portion downhill in the valley. But once, if you got a nose in there and you could maybe force the issue a little bit, and as you can clearly see, Jamie's pulling away. Johnny's kind of holding up the pack. I thought maybe that whole group was maybe doing some fuel saving, but it looks like Johnny was kind of holding them up a little bit. And I think once Andrew gets around, he will get up to his teammate. Here's Andrew to the inside, going into 1, and he clears him. So now Andrew's going to join his teammate, Jamie, and they're going to try to work together and push forward to run down the top 4 in front of, top 5 in front of him.
And Hoffman also looking to make the move. Saw an opening, smelled blood in the water, and he's going to shoot to the inside of the Team Watson Racing setups driver and is through. No, he's not! Garrett pulls around the outside and slams the door shut. Logan Simmons, meanwhile, tried to have an attack on Robert Groscher, and it didn't work.
He was giving him room.
Andrew Aitken has been into pit road and has served that black flag. Still don't know what it was for, but it has been rectified, and he is back out onto the racetrack now. Got a battle for 3rd place as well, starting to pick up, battle for 2nd starting to pick up. Cameron Dance and Ethan Hagan are still tucked up gearbox to front wing, with Dance unable to break away from the driver, the number 20.
Stand broke out to now a 3-second lead.
And oh boy,
Robert's falling out. DC or that's too bad.
Looking like it. He's not on the racetrack right now and had a very sudden exit, so I'd imagine it'd have to be a DC. No, there he goes. He just got back in, so he's back up to 13th, but a big scare there for Robert Groscher.
Blinks again. Uh-oh.
Oh, dear. He's going to have to get that sorted and quick. Well, so far, Ethan Hagan and Cameron Dance remain in lockstep while we wait for the drivers to get themselves sorted. There's the battle for second and third. Tell you what, I mean, a solid drive that we're having between these two. And I do like what these guys are doing. They're having themselves a pretty good fight of things, all things considered. And I think if Hagan can bide his time, he might be able to find a chink in the armor. Cameron Dance is shown to be a tough cookie to crack, but everybody's got their weaknesses.
They'll work together, but right now, the leader continues to pull away. He's now 2.9 down the road. These guys, at some point, may decide that, you know, I can't run them down. I don't have that pace in the car with me right now. I might need to make that first pit stop and maybe make an adjustment with what adjustments they can do in the pits and maybe try to run them down. The only other thing that they might do is attempt an undercut. And we would expect to see the next early attempt in that sometime in the next 18 laps or so. So they still got a long time to go before they get to that first stop. So what they need to do really in the remainder of this stint before they go to the pit road for the first time is try to get into that deficit that Mustanen has built up, and he's now over 3 seconds. So down in the more technical portion of the racetrack, it seems like Mustanen is a little bit better set up for the twisties, whereas maybe these guys here in second and third are maybe set up more for the high-speed portions of the racetrack at the top of the hill up near the grandstands.
Just saw a moment there from Sebastian Kinder coming down to the turn number 1. Take a look right on board and watch this car just snap around on him. Did a great job to catch that thing, though, and make sure he didn't go spearing off into a wall.
In comparison to other Indy cars, these are very wieldy, and they don't like those big movements like that. When they do have a big movement, typically it's going to continue and finish that big movement. But if you can be able to get the car back under control, that is a good thing, and that is a save. But hopefully he learned a little something from that, and it's not repeated, because there's only so many times during a race you can catch that before it reaches the point of no return and you can't catch it anymore.
You see the battle for 8th. Johnny Garrett and Jan Hoffman still within half a second. And has Hans Pitkinen potentially had a bit of a blink just now? Maybe not. Looking like Lucas LaVille may have just made the pass on Logan Simmons. All the way around. No, he did have a bit of a snap there. And that allowed for LaVille to close and get around him into turn 5. Or is that 6 by now?
Simmons is down. 12 right now.
Oh my goodness. Moves it again into the 117s now on the pace.
The car is getting lighter and lighter, and the tires are not degrading as much as I thought they would. So this is a good sign for everybody. Might make the stints go a little bit longer.
Simmons
spinning around, yep.
That's Hans Pitkinen that he just ducked by, so Logan Simmons going to be into 11th
spot.
It's legendary stuff from Logan Simmons, right? I mean, we know he's quick, but... Oh, Alexander McBean now having issues. And he has too much curb on that one.
Yeah, there's not much clearance under these cars. When these drivers sit down in the cockpit, their rear ends are literally... Ooh, there's someone off into the wall.
Oh, it's Santos.
That's Lucas Santos that he tows.
Oh, dear. 3rd week in a row, and Lucas Santos is going to have a unfortunate exit from one of these races. That is such a tough break that this kid's been having, right? I mean, it's... we know he's got talent. Oh my gosh, boosted in again, sets the fastest lap.
1:17.7, yeah.
He's beating his qualifying lap now. Yeah. Take a look though, and too much curve, hard into the wall, and then just fires back across.
That kind of comes back to what I was saying before, is that there's not a lot of clearance underneath these cars. They're not very high off the ground when the driver sits in the seat. His rear end is literally inches from the pavement underneath the floorboard where he's sitting. And when those cars hit those bumps, what they do is they disrupt the car and will lighten up the back end of it a little bit. And if you're hard on the throttle behind it, and again, low end torque these cars have, that will spin the car around or cause it to bite. And then if it bites, you're into a wall more than likely.
Saw Franz Josef Stoom just spear off the track, and then Andrew Aitken goes for another high-speed spin. The Flying Scotsman also not having a good day, and I think that rear wing is just killing him right now.
Yeah, he's trying to bank on a lot of attrition happening today so he can move up and get some extra points and to help in the standings. And it's not a bad way to go, as long as you're not getting everyone's way. But it does make for a long afternoon. All right, halfway through the first stint. It's down to now a 4.4 second lead and approaching lap traffic.
While he's approaching lap traffic, Logan Simmons is approaching the back of Lucas LaVille, looking to make it plus 14 on the day, and this pass will put him into the top 10. There you see Aitken just leaving pit road in the background, getting some more damage repairs. Not close enough to have a lunge into the seat of the Lago, not unless you want to really take both of them out of the race. He's going to get a bit close, though.
Stop for a minute there. Maybe a little chrome horn was going to be applied, but no good control under braking, but it did disrupt his line a little bit, and there you see where he was going into the corner, and now out of the corner, he's catching back up, but he's caught up back rather quickly.
Now, I know you're the IndyCar expert here, but I think I know enough about IndyCars to know that bump and runs don't necessarily work when you don't have a bumper to run with.
No, he would have to hit that the nose of his car pretty square in that rear attenuator box. It's that white box in the back of Lucas's car that kind of covers the, it's a crush zone before it gets to the gearbox. And that's about the only place he could probably pop it square.
Oh boy. Lucas Santos has gotten his baseball flag clear, but I think he is still going to remain out of the race, which again, very, very unfortunate for him. And, well, we talk about attrition, and there might have been just a little bit more, as I think Adam Eckert, spinning off the road, just got a twitch of oversteer on the way in and ran over the AstroTurf, and then he got caught by it.
Not a lot of grip in that AstroTurf.
No, sir. So the battle, this one is the closest on the track right now. Still for 10th and 11th here. It's a good, hard-fought fight that these guys are having with each other. And, again, this could end up being critical because 10th place on up, that's where the points really start to get exponentially greater in the championship, and Logan Simmons not having the most ideal runs in Phillip Island. He needs a good one.
Exciting.
And Stefan Mellis given a black flag, and not sure what the cause is for, but the Bounty Hunter machine going to be forced into pit road.
Take a look at Logan again on LaVille. Might take a stab at him down the one.
Sure is. There's the look, and he's through. Pretty textbook overtake there.
Yeah, good. Use the draft, of what little draft that is available to you on this track. Well, LaVille's not done. Oh, LaVille blanks out. That can be annoying, especially when you're racing someone side by side. Whoa, down through 4. Still side by side. This is good stuff right here. Now it's got to get single file at some point. They're getting into the technical portion of the track.
Oh, no!
Saves it! Partial save, a little bit of net code there. I think net code take it, and net code give it back.
Oh boy. That got a little bit dicey there for a second. Let's ride on board here with Logan Simmons and what he saw for this. That's going to put a swift end to that battle. It doesn't look like there's a lot of damage, if any, on LaVille's machine, so that might be a saving grace right now. And we got Jamie Wilson into pit road, I think.
So this is a little early. So I think what he's doing here is he's going for an undercut. And what he wants to do is make his last stop the longer of the couple of stints that they got to run here for the race, and make his first stint the shortest. So he's trying for an undercut. He's going to get fresh tires, and he's going to come out with virtually no one in front of him. I take that back. I mean, there's about 2.8 seconds down the road. There you see. But it's going to be a couple laps before he gets to them, and virtually no one behind him.
So an undercut strategy, always something interesting to see if it's going to pan out. First green flag stop of the afternoon, and again, should be, I think, could be relatively clean at this point on. I think for the most part, all of the really close battles have gotten themselves kind of single-filed out. I mean, still got a bit of a train here from Grosser back towards VJO and Cesare Manzato. Once this fight gets sorted, I think should be kind of able to settle into the meat of this race.
And that's the train right in front of Wilson that just came out, so he's attempting the undercut. And if he catches this train, it depends on when he catches it. If he catches it here quickly, it's going to slow him down. If he catches it about the time that these guys all decide they want to come to pit road and they get to get off the racetrack in front of him without him putting a lot of effort into trying to pass him, that's going to work to Wilson's advantage. So we'll continue to watch this group and see if they, when they decide to come to pit road, and if they do so, will they do it before Wilson gets there, or will Wilson have to fight through the battle?
You know, as far as pit roads go, this one here is definitely one of the more difficult pit roads to try and get around. It's an extremely difficult thing to get done around this place. And I know it's something that a lot of drivers don't put too much thought in, right? You know, most pit entries kind of coming off of a quarter exit. This old boy should make a bit of a lockup there. But here, you're flat out on the entry, so you really have to be extremely on point with your runs, or you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, it's basically an oval entry onto pit road here for these guys. They're on the accelerator all the way from turn 12 through turn 15 to where the pit road entry lane is, right there just after 15. So it's a lot like an oval there. Now coming off the pit road is a bit of an adventure as well, because there's kind of a twisty road to come off. And you need to keep the car controlled underneath you when you come off the when you're on that twisty portion. Again, here's that's Shoemake. No, it's VJO, excuse me. Getting the pass on Shoemake. That's a very slippery access road coming off of pit road as well, and it's a very technical. There's no runoff area, so if you do muff the rejoin, you're hitting Armco.
Florian Gao dropping out of the top 5, so one of the, I think the 5th place runner having a problem here. This is high speed, oh, look out, and just keeps it off of the wall. But that is lucky right there.
That was a death twitch, wow. Nice job. Keeping everything locked down and pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, though, lost some position.
So the battles continue with, I think, plenty to deal with
Garrett
here.
On Gowd going by, actually that's Gowd going by Garrett.
So Florian Gowd, again, having that issue earlier on, and now I think he's going to be trying to see if he can get the spot back. Garrett fending them off, though, not going to let him take it easily.
Long way around, yeah, very good.
Good defense, left him space. And now looking like Cesare Manzato going to try to take inspiration as he goes down to the inside of Shoemake into the same corner and makes it work.
Back to the scene of Gowd's crime there. They're through there. BJO is searching for a spot to get around Grosser. He just can't find around it. He's locking up his left front, right front, going high, going low, changing entries. He wants to get around. I think Robert's holding him up a little bit. He wants to go. Robert has just enough pace and has got his car just in the right spot in the racetrack in his last couple of turns to keep BJO stymied a little bit.
So like Alexander McBean and Rob Barnical both have a couple of offs. So they are both going to be, unfortunately, down yet more. And Barnical, in fact, got into the fence as well, hit the guardrail. So he's going to have some damage to the left side of his machine. Meanwhile, battles for 7th and battles for 12th on down. Two different packs that we're kind of keeping tabs on at the moment. BJO making a look. Might just be looking to make sure that he doesn't overshoot his braking point and run into the back of Grosser by scrubbing off a little bit of speed. That is a tactic we see some drivers doing. They're just trying to, be a little bit patient, see if there's a way they can brake when they normally do while not taking too much risk for the car in front.
Yeah, he used a couple of words that don't always work in combination with drivers, especially on road courses. That's a little bit of patience. Some guys want to go, 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 and it looks like BJO is one of those. I think Manzato is wanting to get by in this as well. I think Robert has found a pace that is comfortable for him that will allow him to hit his numbers, and really is, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not blocking. He's not putting his car in a position that is doing anything dirty or anything. He's just fast enough to stay ahead of BJO and Manzato, and they have to work a little bit harder if they want to start turning those fast laps. We're in the braking zone. I thought for a second BJO was going to send it to the inside in frustration. A little lockup there from Robert.
Now he's going to overshoot too a little bit there, and that could give BJO the chance he needs. He's there. He's close. Is this going to be the look? He's looking for the inside. Robert Grosser keeping this one the long way around. That's going to be tight into the corner. Contact, and he's going to turn him.
Manzato had to take evasive action. He goes wide, and that's going to hurt him here, but he gets the spot on Grosser.
Boy, oh boy. Wild scenes.
I don't think BJO meant to do that.
I don't think so either. It's just one of those things where you take it as it comes.
I mean, he meant to pass. He wanted to pass, but I don't think he meant to make contact there.
Reactions on Manzato to bail out wide.
Yeah, that could have very easily been a two-car incident. He was taking evasive action.
And still this battle remains, as does the one for 7th between Garrett and Gowd. Checking in on some of our biggest movers of the afternoon. Still Logan Simmons by far with the most, up 15, the only driver into double digits on that mark. BJO up 8 now. Wood and LaVille tied at 6 apiece, with Kinder up 4 despite his earlier issues.
Robert, somewhere in turn 3, gave up a lot of racetrack to a lot of people. Not sure what he had back there.
Take a look. Just went wide. Too much speed. That's all that is.
He overshot turn 1.
Yep. Just saw it on the saw it on the replay too.
This misses the braking zone. Man, Mistaunen out to a 7.6 second lead.
I mean, Mustonen has been, I think, on point all day. Has not put a foot wrong. And now he's just got to make sure that he keeps up that good streak, and he should be able to have himself with a pretty good run throughout the remainder of the afternoon. Let's look back at the battle for 7th. Garrett and Gowd still for 7th and 8th.
I expect pit stops anytime now, regular stops.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Regular
in fact, there's Grosser.
About any time, man. I think he's had enough of his tires.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Maybe get the car looked at and see if there's any damage from a little bit of a rubbing incident with the BJO there. But Looks like he's down off the jacks and away. 10.6 seconds. I know it's early, but Mustanen sitting pretty good right now. Looking like he might get the, he's in a position for the Grand Slam. The Grand Slam is the win, leading all the laps, getting the fastest lap, and getting the pole position. I know it's still early. Pit stops still have occur, and typically we always see the Grand Slam get lost in overlapping pit stops. We'll see if he can go longer than everyone else. But the thing is, you know, when you're fast, you use more fuel. So does he come in before Cameron does? Or does Cameron and Ethan back in second and third need to come in earlier than Thomas?
Ethan Hagan is still keeping Cameron Dance very honest as well. I mean, while he may be outside of drafting range 2 seconds back, he still is going to be able to make that charge later on in the game. And if Cameron Dance puts a foot wrong, well, Hagan's going to be right there to capitalize. So I think Cameron Dance not at a point where he can really breathe easily yet, because Hagan is still within striking distance if something goes wrong.
Really hard to tell what the line they take through 14 and 15 if they're coming to pit road or not, because they're right down there in the entryway for pit road.
And in the middle of this, the battle for 7th and 8th still remains. No end in sight. Both drivers will stay out one more lap. And we'll go over to lap 26. The battle for the number 7 spot. Looking like same story potentially for 12th and 13th, which was at one point a 5-car fight, and it's down to 2. Thought for a moment that Cesare Manzano there might be close enough to have a look down the inside of EJO. He opted against it, but I thought for a hot minute, you know, maybe he certainly led me to believe he was going to for a second. There he goes. Now he's going to make the move into turn 4.
Manzano's had a lot of pace. He's worked his way up now. He's up. Actually, he started a little bit higher. He's had a bit of a rough day, but it looks like he's regained his composure. Manzano down 6 spots, but he's regaining some of those. Oh, and he blinks out.
Once again, up over the hill. Still nobody coming down into pit lane, so several drivers still going for those undercuts, and others are opting against them. Rob Barnical has had an incident, and this incident has taken him out of the race. Take a look as Barnical through turn 4. Has he gotten the death twitch? No, he's gotten the death oversnap and into the fence, and that's gonna, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, as soon as you hit that grass, it's like hitting an accelerator. It just nothing slowing you down before you hit the wall. Day done.
And looking like Logan Simmons has had a problem, because all of a sudden he is a long way back from Manzano. Oh, sorry, no, I'm looking at Gowd and Garrett. Sorry, I got Logan Simmons and Johnny Garrett confused for a minute. Simmons is closing, though. He's within 1.6. Stops an ever-present factor in these races, especially the ones that tend to get broken apart. Fuel tank should be good for 28 to 30 laps, so within the next 3 laps, we're going to be seeing everybody coming down to the lane just for fuel alone.
Yeah, rarely you don't see Indy cars go final stop or for a first pit stop, fuel only. Everyone will change tires. It only takes about 5 seconds or so to change a tire on these cars. They got the pneumatic jacks underneath them that will pop the car up just high enough. They have a single lug in the middle with the impact wrench. They hit that. It's an easy on, easy off. They'll change the tires, and our leader coming to pit road.
So race leader Thomas Mustonen is in. Will Cameron Dance follow? No. Dance going to go for the overcut. He stays out.
That will kill the chances for the Grand Slam. The rarest things you get in auto racing, just about.
Well, it's a shame, but I'm sure he's going to have plenty more chances by the end of the season. Willie Schwabauer, ultimate at pit road this lap. Battle for 7th, staying out. So you see Schwabauer's
stop for Willie.
Yeah.
Long stop for Willie.
I don't know.
Seconds,
I mean, 12 seconds from Mustonen on his stop.
Yeah, they must have been filling up all the way. And keep in mind also, and I tend to forget this as well, these have bigger tanks than the IR-18 and the DW-12. These are 22-gallon tanks versus the 18-gallon tanks of the DW-12 and the IR-18. So a little bit longer fuel fill for these cars. So he must have filled it all the way to the brim. The fueling rigs for Indycar, unlike when Formula One used to fuel their cars, Formula One would have the pressurized rigs. Sometimes they would be even refrigerated because they found out that the cooler fuel would burn better. The problem they had is everyone kind of built their own rig to spec, and it wasn't not to spec, but to their own spec. And there was a lot of safety issues there, a lot of pit road fires. So they stopped doing refills on fuel in Formula One. I think we should go back to it if they just have a safety spec. But everybody in IndyCar uses. Everyone coming to pit road there.
Oh no! Garrett and Floud, both speeding penalties on entry. Both of them. Oh, that is devastating. You saw the speedometer on the way in. Pit road speed limit around 80 kilometers an hour here. 270 down to 80 is a tall order, and both of them trying to stay in front of the other just barely missed the mark, and that could cost them big points today. What was due to be a 12-second stop will, I would imagine, easily turn into 30 plus.
Yeah, it's going to be a 40-second hold.
Oh my!
So they'll start getting released here momentarily.
That is huge, though. Here we go, battle between Shoemake and VJO out of pit road, and just Shoemake is going to be bested by the Finnish native. So Vesa going to take off down the racetrack, and Shoemake going to come out just behind, along with Sebastian Kinder, and there is Robert Groscher at the tail end trying to catch them.
Going back to what I was talking about with the fueling rigs for IndyCar, they're gravity fed. So now I don't think it's actually reflected in the sim. I'm not sure about that, but in the real world, typically the first couple of stops that they have in a race, they're much faster than the final stop because IndyCar gives each team just enough fuel in the rig to get to the end of the race. And so typically that final stop, there's not as much mass or weight in the tank of fuel pushing down on the gravity feed device there, and so the fuel feeds and the fuel flow is a lot slower later in the race than it is earlier in the race.
Alexander McBean and Stefan Mellis have both had problems, and maybe as a result of contact, we'll see. Nope, McBean spins around by himself, and Mellis, I believe, oh, he spun out trying to get back onto the racetrack after avoiding him.
So the undercut for Jamie Wilson nets him 6th position.
That said, he's going to be in a lot earlier as well. He's already been on his stint for the last 14 laps here. It's a pretty broad margin.
he's running the race in reverse. I think what most people are going to do. They're going to do their 2 long stints and then make their last stint the short stint. He's opting to go for the short stint first and then go long later.
Kind of put this up visually about how long he's going to. We'll compare this with the race leaders. There you can see James Wilson and Thomas Mustinen compared to the last stints they made. And, well, I mean, that kind of tells you it all, right? I mean, Wilson came down just over the halfway point through Mustinen's stint, so he's definitely going to be down on a significant tire disadvantage.
So the undercut is he was hoping with the fresh tires and open racetrack that he could push, put some big laps in, and then work his way up in the order by passing people when they go to pit road. It's always easier to pass someone when they're sitting still than trying to pass someone while they're moving still on the racetrack. Don't race harder, think smarter.
And Logan
He's out there
Simmons
with a teammate, by the way, so that's making things a little bit easier for him.
Logan Simmons, same as Stephen Mellis, went wide in turn 1 and just bottomed out when he was coming back on. And Kinder getting around Randy Shoemate. That was the pass for 13th you saw being made down into the Cedar del Lago.
Good pass. Glad you caught that one.
Right now, the battle for 13. These are the last cars on the lead lap. And not far away from being lapped either by your race leader, less than halfway through.
Yeah, Thomas has picked back up the lead after Cam came to pit road. Thomas only 8 seconds behind this group right here. Thing is, Thomas is going to catch them before the next pit stop, so he will have to work his way around them. You can't just hope that they'll dive the pit road unless they change their strategy mid-race here.
Which, considering they're battling with each other, could go either way. My money's on they won't. You know, usually once you have one strategy, you stick with it. I mean, sometimes you shake it up, see if you can get around the guys in front of you. I mean, these guys have been pretty evenly matched on pace. They've been relatively close, pretty much from the get-go. I see no reason for them to change anything up.
And it would only be for, here's a battle for position, Shoemaker and Grosser. And he gets that pass done.
And that
you got to take under account changing your strategy too. I mean, what type of net gain am I looking at if I change my strategy? Is it just one spot? Not worth it. Depending on, back for 14th, 13th spot. Now, if it's for one spot and it's for first place, yeah, man, do it. Let's roll the dice.
Over on the right side of your screen, you can see the live championship updates. This is, of course, before factoring in bonus points on the afternoon. Right now, Cameron Dance would retake the race lead. Boosted in, jumping up 4 positions in the title to take second. And it would be a 5-point fight between the top 2 as it stands, with Simmons dropping over 20 points out. Ethan Aiken already almost 30. It's a pretty big margin for just the out of race number 3, but that said, again, this is before the drop weeks really start to factor into play, and this championship could either space out even further or it could close way up more once we get out of races 4, 5, and 6, when the drop weeks really start to take effect.
Just to remind people on the bonus points, 1 for pole position, so that goes to Mustanen, and then you get 2 for leading the most laps.
So right now, in fact, this is factored in bonus points. Sorry. So Mustanen is right now being scored.
It works.
As so he is being scored right now as having led the most laps. That's why you see plus 52, because you only get 50 points for a race win. Now, I don't know why he's not getting the one as well for pole. It might not have calculated it yet, that's all. Alexander McBean.
Close battles on the racetrack. Jamie Wood seems to have the closest battle to him right now. Or Jamie Wilson, Andrew Wood.
It was McBean having a small spin. Keeps it off the fence. race is kind of really spread out a lot more than it has at Phillip Island. I think this is really kind of, Gary, the first tame race we've really had all year. A lot of attrition, yes, but, not too many aggressive battles to kind of hype things up. I know Phillip Island was insane for a lot of that. And, of course, Motegi was Motegi, but it's still been a good race. I mean, Stefan Mellis in pit road, and we still have a lot of small spins. A majority of the cars still circling the racetrack. In fact, out of the 25 starters, we've only lost 4. I think we had lost, 5 or 6 at this point in the race by the time we got to this point at Phillip Island?
Yeah, first race angst. Everyone wants to put in a good effort there, so they race a little bit harder for that first race. And then our first oval race, you get some of the oval guys that say, hey, man, I got beat up in the last race. I'm going to show you how it's done here. So now we got our first oval out of the race. Now it's like, okay, we're into the season. Let's start putting a list of and a string of races together that gets us some consistent points so we can start working on ourselves in the points championship. Because this is a very long season here in the Classic IndyCar Series. This is a calendar-long season. It runs from March all the way to right around Thanksgiving time. So, you need to start putting in a string of races that get you to the finish and that start rewarding you points so you can start moving up in the standings.
Thomas Bustinen continuing to lead the way here in this one. Florian Gaud now having a potential issue. We'll take a look at what happened to him real quick. Turn 1, strikes again, and spins another car. How many times have we seen that type of spin today? It's a downhill break. It's a very difficult corner to get right. Very, very deceptive on how it tightens up.
Yeah, that's a lot of height change in the racetrack right there. These cars don't like, and if we, later this season, I'm not sure if we're going to Laguna Seca, but we did Laguna Seca for the Winter Series, and the corkscrew is notorious for loosening cars up as they enter the corkscrew because it's a rapid loss in track elevation, and so these cars don't bend very well, and that back end gets very light, and that turn into 1, there's a lot of downhill motion there, and these cars don't like it.
Fight picking up for 10th here. Hans Pinkinen under fire. Cesare Manzato trying to make the look here, and down the inside. Manzato going to take that one away. And
good pass.
Yeah, a good pass indeed. And right where that's going on, Adam Eckert finding himself facing the wrong direction once again. Well, we got ourselves relatively, just past the halfway point at this point in time. So let's take a quick chance to thank the folks who keep the lights on here for the Classic IndyCar Series. Today's race, the PRS Sao Paulo Indy 300, is brought to you by Pavement Recycling Systems. Founded in 1989, PRS first provided cold milling services to the Southern California market. Now PRS has subsequently grown into the premier general engineering subcontractor for cold milling, soil stabilization, roller compacted concrete, and cold in-place asphalt recycling in California and Nevada for the presses in Utah, Oregon, and Washington. In 2007, PRS added the highly regarded Pavement Preservation Company, Pavement Coatings Company, PCC, and adding pavement preservation services throughout California and specializing in the use of RAP aggregates via their reclaimed aggregates division. Both PRS and PCC are owned by PRS Holdings Incorporated, which are proud to be 100% employee-owned. For more, visit pavementrecycling.com. Andrew Wood and Jamie Wilson, two of the Power Slide Team Chimera teammates, looking to go head-to-head. What do you reckon? Think they're going to do Team Mortis here, or are they going to look to actually fight it out for 5th?
I bet you they're taking it easy on each other, long as they both have the pace that are very similar. Keep in mind that we're on split strategies here between these two, and here comes Jamie to the inside. So this looks like a planned pass. So that may be a bit of a team coordination, and then Jamie goes ahead now to 5th.
Good a time as ever to do it, really.
And Jamie should be coming to pit road sometime. He went 16 laps on his first stint. He's now out, well, actually longer in his second stint, 22 laps. So we would expect Jamie coming to pit road sometime in the next 10 laps or so. He was probably saving a good deal of fuel behind his teammate as well. And he probably just said that, okay, now I'm about 10 laps away from getting into my pit window. Go ahead and let me by. You could follow me, save on me for a while, and I'm just going to duck off the racetrack so you don't have to race me for the position later on when I hit my stop.
Alexander McBean's day continues to deteriorate as the 28 car again spins off at turn 4. And he will drop. Oh, my word.
And a black flag.
Who was that just ducked around him? I think it was Lucas LaVille, and I think LaVille may have actually hit him. Yeah, he did. Just winged him. Looking like all the damage, though, went to McBean's car, and LaVille got away with that one scot-free just about.
I think the black flag is for the incident limit.
Ah, that would do it. Yep. As he is off again, and this time with a lot of rear wing damage. He's not the only one, by the way. Florian. Oh, what's happened to Gowd?
Yeah, he has major damage. Went ahead and towed the pit road.
Holy cow.
Yeah, no kidding.
What the heck happened to you, good sir? Was fighting for top 10 spots earlier in the race.
Off of turn 4.
Yep. Oh, that'll do it. Oh, that's a huge hit into the fence.
Grabbed a little too much on of nature on exit there. Not enough racetrack.
Yeah. So this race is going to pick up right now. Only battle is between the teammates who are coordinating to ensure that they can both get good runs this afternoon. We're going to take ourselves to the step back. When we return, it's more racing action coming up on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flying TV. Watching the battle for 13th as Robert Grosch has been steadily catching up to Sebastian Kinder. If you're just tuning in, you're watching round number 3 of the PRS Classic IndyCar Series. And, off goes Kinder. Just keeps it off of the tire wall on the right-hand side. And, well, that ends yet another battle that we had going on. And, well, Gary, it's been one of those days, right, where it's just you can't win them all, it seems. And you were mentioning a big part of this might be in part to do with the weather.
Well, the weather is definitely improved more towards the driver's advantage with the tire degradation with the hotter track. We started right around 100 degrees on track temperature. Now we're down to 96. The ambient really hasn't changed, but the key there is the track temperature. That has come down now 4 degrees, so that's just going to help these guys, especially with they still have one more long stint and then one short stint to go. And that's just going to help make a decision on should they go longer or maybe come in a little bit earlier on that longer stint and maybe decide to cut the race in halves at that point. So we'll see if anyone changes their strategy mid-race here because of there we got traffic in the way there, Kinder, but of a strategy here in the closing half of the race.
You can see as well the track temp started up at 112 and it is just dipped again down to 95. So we're down almost 20 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of track temp, which is about 8 degrees centigrade as well. So you're right, it's coming down, and that means less tire deg, and I think that has led to drivers trying to maybe push a little bit harder. Seen a lot more lockups now as well. I think drivers really pushing that limit, trying to see what they can do, and I would not be surprised if after this next pit stop we saw that fastest lap getting reset again.
Oh, I think someone for sure is going to try to set some Red Bull laps here late in the race, especially with new tires and light tanks. If they decide to make that last stop their short one.
You can see fastest laps of everybody so far this race, and again, a good race so far that everybody's been having this afternoon. And I think for the most part, drivers are kind of going through the motions, right? Nobody's really in a battle except for the Power Slide Team Camarateamis, but as we've discussed, they went for that orchestrated pass down the front straight about, 5 laps ago, and they've been more or less working together throughout the entire time. They've been just... And
they just set personal best laps last time.
Oh, did they? Well, how about that?
Yes.
So it seems like these two might be picking up pace?
I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that they've worked themselves into a bit of a rhythm. And, camera dance. There we go. 117.5 or 117.7. So Cameron's picking up the pace now. And I will chalk that up and agree with you. I think that's because we're looking at a cooler racetrack.
And Ethan Hagen is going to be forced into pit road because he has just crashed and looks like has crashed hard into pit road as Jamie Wilson for the scheduled pit stop. This should, in theory, be the one that gets him to the end of the race. Let's take a look what happened to Ethan Hagen here. This is out of Junsao. Oh, whoa! What in the world?
Ouch.
Why? Has to be a hardware failure, right? Like a screen blinked out or something?
Yeah. That to me says it's mechanical.
Oh boy. That's
Wilson. Oh, he rejoining the racetrack and he was grabbing. And I told you that coming back, the pit road, access road coming back to the racetrack is a little dangerous there, and he grabbed a little too much of the turf and just about got it squirrely and put it into the Armco. And we've seen what happened when these cars hit Armco. And that's when I say Armco, that is the metal fencing there. If they hit that metal fencing, that is day done in these Indy cars.
Let's take a look. This will be Jamie Wilson on his way out of pit road. soon as he gets through his stop. Here we go.
Want to get up to speed as quickly as possible. And there he catches a little bit of the road right here. Turning, and that car doesn't want to turn. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Good recovery. No room for error there. I think even Monaco offers a greater margin of error than that pit exit.
It is threading the needle.
So Jamie Wilson now out in front, and we have no further drivers on the racetrack as of yet. We can take a rundown, kind of top to bottom for the timing order. Right now, Moosten 4.8 seconds out ahead of Cameron Dance. Dance has actually been kind of running them down the last little while. Curious to see if that's going to turn into anything. Willie Schwabauer, meanwhile, 32 seconds out for third. Andrew Wood also trailing at a distant fourth. 3 seconds behind him is Jan Hoppen in fifth, and it's Lucas Seville in sixth. Logan Simmons in seventh, Cesare Manzato in eighth, Jamie Wilson and Hans Pitkanen close out the top 10 as well as the drivers on the lead lap.
We got BJO in 11th. We got Robert back in 12th, Seb in 13th. Randy Shoemake still turning some laps out there in 14th. Johnny Garrett. He needs to turn laps here. He's involved in the points battle, so every lap, every position matters for this guy. He's in 15th. Stum, very quiet day in 16th. Eckert in 17th. Mellis and Egan just swap spots. I believe Egan is kind of stuck on pit road with an extended repair. So Mellis is still turning laps, and just by persistence, picks up the position. He's up in 18th. Number of cars on pit road with black flags. I believe their days are done.
Alexander McBean, Florian Goud, Ethan Egan, all with either meatballs or full black flags, and we will not be seeing any of those drivers back on the racetrack throughout the course of the afternoon.
Dance.
Oh
Dance
boy.
1:17.6.
Dance is closing. Now,
got
the
a
question...
4+ second gap to make up, but yeah, this is what he needs to, right before the pit stop.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering, right? Is he actually closing this in on genuine pace, or is Moosen just backing off?
Well, he's doing it on genuine pace because he's setting purple laps. The gap really hasn't come down an awful lot, although it was like 4.5. Now it's like 4.2. So it could just be that Thomas maybe is backing off. It could also be that the handling of Thomas's car has kind of gone away. This is an open setup series, so when your car is maybe set up for a little bit slicker racetrack, and you have it loosened or tightened up for a slicker racetrack. When the track cools down, the track becomes tighter. Now all of a sudden your car becomes much tighter.
Worth noting as well, I think, that Cameron Dance's pit stop last time by was 2.3 seconds shorter than Moosen, so might have not have filled up all the way. That would definitely explain why he's now within 4 seconds as well. I think the big question, what might decide this race is, what are the pit stop times going to be when we come back in?
Well, last time, Thomas went 28 laps on the stem. He's at 21 now. And Cameron went 29. He's at 20 now. So you will find out very quickly in the next 10 laps or so who's going to blink first.
Well, coming on up on Green Flag TV, the Blazing Pedals ARCA Series takes to the action track at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Swing on down to join Justin Prince and Derek Watson in the broadcast booth as they'll bring you Sunday night ARCA action. While Scott Rankin and I will be doing the same with the ASL Xfinity Series down at Mobility Resort Motegi, as they'll jump across the Pacific to go race on the shores of Japan. That'll be taking place at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Both of those races racing later on this afternoon. So always something going on at Green Flag TV. And of course, if you have missed the first 50 or so laps here, don't worry. There is going to be more chances to watch this series, and as ESTV is rebroadcasting all of these races a week after a show. If you're tuning in from the rebroadcast on either of their platforms, welcome along. We're happy to have you with us. And, well, if you are looking for where to watch that, well, you can find it on all of the distribution platforms at estv.co. Coming up on 20 laps to go, so we're definitely in the window that if you pit now, you're good to go the distance. The only question is how much fuel a driver's going to take, because that's going to be a big decider in this race for the lead.
How much do you need, I guess is the question, not how much you take. How much do you need? Because the answer there is enough, just enough.
Well, how much is enough? I guess that's the next question. Yeah,
that is a closely held secret, yeah.
If we were to ask Cameron Dance that question right now, how much are you willing to bet that he would tell us?
I think he would give us an estimation and not an exact number.
I think that's about fair. You want to make sure to keep your opponents guessing as well, because some people do that, right? They'll watch these streams live to try and pick up on little things that your competitors are doing, and Moosen just resetting the fastest lap again with a 117.5.
Yeah, that was my reaction there. Yeah, not much intelligence can be gleaned, well, certainly from me out of this. Just speculation, and yeah, Thomas sets a purple lap. That got my reaction.
$20 laps to go for the PRS Sao Paulo Indy 300. Right now, closest gap between any two drivers is between Lucas Leville and Logan Simmons, 2.4 between the two. I guess you can call Robert Grosch and Sebastian Kinder a little bit close as well, 2.3 seconds separated. So two drivers that have yet more speed to be gleaned out of those race cars. Cameron Dance is still keeping Thomas honest. I mean, he may have reset the fastest lap, but that gap close to 3.8 this very lap, and has Leville's in a pit road for his final stop.
Right at 20 to go. They'll try to get some undercuts here.
Oh boy. Well, I think that kind of opens up it up, doesn't it?
He is the first to blink. Now, I don't think the leaders are going to react to what he's doing. I think who's going to react to what he's doing are those that were racing around him. There he is weaving his car, trying to get those tires up to temperature a little bit faster.
Leville going to exit pit road in 10th place. About 2 seconds behind Hans Pitkinen and 2 seconds ahead of VJO, so pretty much a bit of no man's land territory for the moment. Dance's gap closes to 3.7 now.
Yep.
If he can keep... I'm trying to do the math in my head, right? But I think if he can keep the sub 10-second pit stop time, I don't think he's got enough to close him in, but it would be real close.
I think it's going to be entertaining. Right now, I think this is Thomas's race to lose at the moment. And here comes Cameron,
undercut.
So he's going to try and undercut.
So let's pull this up. We'll keep this up until Moosen makes his stop as well. So Cameron Dance's pit stop is on the right-hand side. That's Moosen's last pit stop over on the left-hand side. So into the box. What's the time going to be? I think if he wants to have a realistic chance, it has to be a sub 10. It's an 8. 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay, this race has just come alive. That means if Moosen is close, if Moosen takes another 12-second stop, he's in trouble.
And he rejoins, Cameron rejoins pretty much with an empty racetrack. He did rejoin right next to Shoemake, but I think Shoemake lifts a little bit, lets him on by, knowing that he's one of the leaders, but he's 7 seconds up the road is the nearest car for him, so he could push with clean racetrack and see what he could put down for laps. So don't be surprised if we maybe see some purple laps come out of him here in the next couple of laps after his pit stop. Go ahead.
critically, look at the gap between the two, right? 25 seconds. If Mustonen, even if Mustonen matches Dance's pit stop time of 8.5 seconds, that's an under 2-second gap to the lead. That is absolutely massive.
Yeah, so it's 25 seconds back to Dance, where Mustonen is right now. The pit road delta, last time Mustonen was on pit road, he was on pit road for 26.4. So it's going to be very close. He can't afford to miss, you know, his marks. He can't slide in and make an awkward entrance. He's got to smack him dead on. And he comes out, he'll come out maybe with a 1 second lead, but he's going to do it with full tires. So that will shrink down even more. So when this pit stop occurs, let's get on the edge of our seats, get your popcorn now, because I think it's going to be an exciting couple of laps immediately after that.
Yes, sir. Cesare Monsato and Andrew Wood are also close. Battle for 6th and 7th, 1.3 seconds separate this pairing. And Hoffman will take to pit road. And in fact, just leaving pit road, sorry. And is he going to fall behind Wood and Monsato? It's going to be close.
Down at 1:17.5.
We're going to be side by side of the run down to turn 4. Mustonen resets the fastest lap. Hoffman trying to fend off Wood. Wood trying to go the long way, but Hoffman's going to stay out in front of the turn number 4. Just barely beating these guys out of pit road. And Monzato's gone around and he's into the wall hard and out of the race. Huge mistake for Cesare Monsato, was trying to chase in the North Sim Racing number 4. Too much AstroTurf, spins into the wall and out.
That wall came quick.
Yeah, not a lot of margin of error here. Ooh. So day over for him. It's now a battle between Wood and Hoffman. Now, these are two drivers that are battling for position here. They have both made their second and final stops of the night. There goes Jan Hoffman trying to get around Andrew Wood, as Wood looks like he did get around him, while Jan Hoffman was trying to get his tires back up to temp.
Wood's one of my broadcast partners. We broadcast the Dark Horse Racing Series, their DW12 Indycar League, on Sunday night starting next week over on my channel on P1. And catching Andrew Wood's one thing, passing him is something else. And wow, Jan did it on the outside, but it's not done yet.
And not game over. Andrew Wood trying to get him back around the long way of 6 now. Hoffman still with the inside, down into the braking zone. And it's difficult to go side by side through this section. Not impossible. Andrew Wood, though, going to be able to fend him off. So Jan Hoffman will have to try again.
As I said, catching's one thing, passing's another.
You see Cesare Monsato still being shucked down the timing screen. It's a tough break for Cesare Monsato. Was on a track to have a very good race, and what are you going to do, right? It happens.
All right, so the clouds have come into play here, and the sun is behind the clouds, and the track temp is coming down. And Mustonen was getting held up by Wilson a little bit. He just opts to come to pit road, so here we go. Did he lose enough time behind Wilson when he was trying to get by? That's going to cost him the position. Here he comes. He cannot miss his stall at all. He needs to hit all of his marks dead on. He does.
So now, what's the time in the box? 7.9, so he beats Dance by about 0.6 of a second. 0.4 of a second quicker in pit road. The gap still under 5 seconds, but it has extended since the time they came down to pit road. So Dance's stop, not a race-winning one. And this could, I think that spells the end of the battle for the lead.
Well, he's in the middle of traffic, so he needs to get around that. But yeah, the race is in his hands now.
So we'll tune in the battle for 5th. Really the closest battle we got on the racetrack right now. Willie Schwabauer also in a pit road, and you just saw him go back onto the racetrack. So Schwabauer is out of pit road. While Jan Hoffman still not able to get around the driver, the number 20 in front of him.
Yeah, if we bring Schwabauer home for third during the interview, we got to ask him how'd he stay awake. He's probably had the most uneventful race out of just about everybody in this race. He's just been in third place all day long, cruising. Nothing really exciting happening, just hitting his marks, doing his stints, you know, making good, clean pit stops and getting back out there and turning consistent laps. And that's all he's done all day.
Boy. And sometimes that's all you got to do, Ryan. All you got to do is just have a good drive, and, well, you're going to be in for a... You're going to be able to do just fine. Hans Pitkanen now. Oh, dear. He has towed, and I sense another driver. Yep, meatball flag. Oh, this is out of pit road. No! Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, that's where I kept telling you that you got to watch this pit road. It's not easy to come off. And yeah, you hear it. You even hear it. He went to go apply some throttle, and at the back end, just like, nope, I'm not adhering. My tires aren't up at temperature.
Jeez.
And smacks the wall. That's day done there. You hit that arm code, these cars, it's like hitting a cheese shredder.
You know, it's one thing to. I think it's one thing to have your race end as a result of battle on the racetrack, if it's like a mistake. It's another thing altogether to have it happen while you're exiting or entering the pits, right? I mean, it's...
Hey, the final stop is... I always call the final stop the most critical time of the race because it's where the most mistakes happen. And you don't have to look much further than a couple Indy 500s ago when Scott Dixon dominated the day, came to pit road, and just... whatever reason, you know, he hit the cones and he was too fast, and that was the end of his dominant day. He lost his chance for a second Indy 500 win by just momentarily a lapse of focus coming to his final pit stop. The final pit stop is your most crucial stop of the day.
Johnny Garrett out of pit road, coming in for his final stop as well.
He's going to be just happy that this race is done. He's down 5 spots from where he started. Not going to help him much in the championship today. He just wants to get through this thing. Get him back to a place maybe he's more familiar with at Indianapolis next.
Oh no, Lucas LaVille may have just had a moment. LaVille. Here we go. Running back here in 8th.
Under acceleration. Yeah.
Doesn't hit anything though.
Got lucky.
No harm, no foul on that.
And if this is under their final stops, the cars are going to be a little bit lighter on, they probably haven't run very many laps in practice with this combination of light fuel and new tires, so the car is going to behave a little bit differently.
We'll take another look at the updated championship standings at the end of this one, and you can still see way up at the front there about how Cameron Dance would still be seeking to kind of retake things here at the end of the afternoon. So Dance still having a pretty solid drive over the course of the afternoon. You can see other drivers jumping up into the top 10. Jan Hoffman, Andrew Wood, Sebastian Kinder would all hop into the top 10. So they're having some great days for themselves. So again, a very unofficial updated championship order over on the far side of the screen, but I think it does lead to be a little bit interesting, right, to see kind of where things are shaking up even this early in the season and how much things can change in such a short span of time.
Yeah, and Cameron Dance purple lap that time by 1:17.4. That's why I always say that early this season, just that's where you get all the angst and hiccups out of the way and just start building your momentum you know, to start. It's always better to start the championship strong or with consistency than ending with consistency, because most of the time if you're ending with consistency and you didn't have a consistent start to your season, you're kind of digging yourself out of a hole. You know that what they always talk about when you back in school, back in college, high school, you get the grade point average, and they always say start strong, because if you start with a low grade point average, you're going to spend the next 4 years digging yourself out of the hole. Kind of the same thing here. Start strong, and then you won't spend the next, the last 10 races of the year trying to dig yourself out of a hole that you could have avoided just by putting together finishes. Not strong finishes, but just finishes at the start of the season. And yes, my mom was a school teacher, and I heard that discussion so many times.
Of a loose three-way fight here. Wood, Hoffman, Wilson. Two teams sandwiching Vortex Sim Racing with two Powerslide Team Chimera cars. You reckon this might pick up before the end of this one?
I think it's a possibility. Looking at where everyone made their last stops. Wood 8 laps in, Hoffman 7 laps in. Jamie 16 laps into his final stint. So if anything, it might just be Wood and Hoffman getting closer. They got about equal tires. Jamie, I think, is just at this point settled in on a good 6th place finish here. He's up 4 spots, so he started, right at the cusp of the top 10, and to work your way up through strategy that far is pretty good.
Well, Jan Hoffman does bring the gap down to 0.8 of a second, so it's always a chance that this could escalate further, but I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't think necessarily. I mean, he's been trying to get closer, but I'm not convinced that Jan Hoffman's going to be able to catch up to Wood and really fight for the spot. They've been very evenly matched. Lap times have been extremely comparable. Only a 10th or 2 separated them the last little while. And in cases like Jan Hoffman and Jamie Wilson, under a 10th of a second separated them from lap to lap. I think these guys are just that evenly matched. They can't break away from each other, but they can't really close in either.
Yeah. The top 7 on the lead lap, I think. So the leader has been working around at a pretty good clip to work his way into the mid part of the top 10 lapping cars.
While Sebastian Kinder has Robert Groscher starting to apply some pressure as well. And we could see maybe Groscher have a look if he can get that little bit more of a nose in. I think as far as races go, like I said, this is one of the tamer ones that we've had to start off the season, and that's good because this means that we can look at the races like Motegi and be so excited about what's coming on up, especially 2 weeks from now, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Our next oval race is going to be down at the Milwaukee Mile, starting off June. Not often that the Brickyard usually gets 2 races. They're going there back-to-back, though, for this year. They went there again last year as well. Last year's race, kind of like this one, it got pretty spread out pretty early, and I don't see any reason why it'd be much different this year.
You're talking about the Indy GP course?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I would say that probably most of these drivers are more familiar with that course than Interlagos, whereas the Indy GP course is a traditional Indycar course. Although these cars and this chassis, keep in mind this is the IR05 or the IR09, depending on who you talk to, chassis from back right around the point where Indycar was unified in 2008. So these are the result of the oval cars that were kind of running in the Indy Racing League's heyday. So they never did race at the on the Indy Grand Prix road course, Formula One or the current course otherwise. But those guys, these are big IndyCar fans that are driving these things, so they probably have been in other leagues or participated in other official races that use the Indy GP course quite a bit. and they're probably more familiar with that track, a lot along the same lines of a Long Beach or a Road America. So they're probably going to be happy to get to a track, a road course that they're somewhat familiar with. There was probably a degree of learning that they had to do here. These cars are very, as I mentioned, unwieldy. They are big pigs. They are big dump trucks. They do not like to turn left and right slowly. They like to turn left very fast. That was what they're made for. And this track, these cars probably behave like a dump truck, I'm sure. And so they'd probably be happy at the end of this round to get off this racetrack and on to something a little bit more familiar. Six to go, coming to 5 to go here very shortly. Dance now 2.7.
The gap is continuing to close, and again, very curious to see.
Lap traffic in front of Thomas. It's Logan. I mean, Logan's not hurting on pace, but it doesn't help. And yeah, I'm curious to see if it comes down as more too.
Well, lap 64 was down by 0.13 for the 10th marker. Did extend a little bit on 65, but then Dan's quicker by 4 thou this last lap as well. So I think it is getting to that point where it might be getting a little bit close as, well, Franz Josef Stum looks like has just had a moment. Had a bit of a lockup and then, whoa, yep, that'll do it. Seen that a lot tonight.
It's just the nature of these cars.
Jamie Wilson and Jan Hoffman.
Right in front of Logan. Simmons spins out right in front of Cam Dance, and he takes evasive action, and that might be enough to kind of end the run for the lead.
It will be. 4.2. No way you run that down in 4 laps. There you see him just having to slip around the outside. That's going to be a question, and that gives Simmons a black flag as well for incident limit. Now, that's going to be an interesting question to talk to Cameron about, right? I mean, if that black flag doesn't happen, what do you have caught Moose in it? Because I don't believe he's going to be able to run down a second a lap. No way.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a chance. His spotter even told him, yellow in that corner, or, does he come around the corner and just all of a sudden it's there? He sees it blindly.
Well, the battle for 5th closing in. Jamie Wilson and Jan Hoffman down to 3.5 tenths of a second.
Yeah. I didn't anticipate it going this way. I thought it would go the other way. But Jamie running down Jan, and Jan kind of falling back to Jamie. So yeah, this is going to be a real battle here in the closing laps.
4 laps to go. Plenty of time. They're not going to be lapped by the leader, so they have more than enough free time to duke this out to their heart's content. So they'll track down the back straight. Another battle to keep an eye on in the closing stages as well. Sebastian Kinder with Robert Groscher less than a second away. So that is another one that could close up big time in the closing marks. Oh, he's looking, isn't he? Jamie Wilson wants a top 5 to close out the night.
You can see on the camber on these corners, a lot of times one either side, depending on what direction they're turning. Those front tires sometimes aren't even touching the ground, so they're not even turning as they're going through those kind of weird bank and cambered corners in the slow portion of the racetrack. He's got a good run here. He's going to be in the draft. We're going to see how he can close the gap down the end of the straightaway. Tuck right on up. Jan punching a big old hole in the air. Jamie's there. He's going to send it to the inside for a peek.
Thought better. All right.
Ooh, a little twitchy there in 1 and 2.
Game on. So So Vortex Sim Racing versus Power Slide Team Chimera. How many dozens, if not hundreds of times have we seen battles like this go down in Classic IndyCar Series history? They'll have 2 laps to go at the stripe. Musin just working his way to the Curva de Sol in the Senna S right now. Grosjean, by the way, not going to check just yet because this is closer, but he has closed down about half a second away from Kinder as well. So that is a battle that is quickly closing in as well.
All right, let's see if he gets another run on him through the front straight portion. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. He's going to really have to send it down the road.
It's under 2/10 though. Make that a quarter of a second. 2, 1.5. Look for the outside. Opts against the outside. But he thought about it. Now, if he can get a great drive, this is going to be it.
Not a good set of corners for Jan. He grabbed too much curb there.
There's the squeeze out to the right-hand side into the seat of the Lago. Oh, big twitch for Wood. And he'll be forced to tuck back in line behind Jan Hoffman. Hoffman parks that car in the middle of the road, trying to make it as wide as possible, while Jamie Wilson hounds the gearbox.
White flag in the air. Your leader through turn 4.
Leader's about just a little ways behind. No move being made down the front straightaway for Kinder or Grosjean. Hoffman doing everything he can to try to fend off Jamie Wilson.
Now these two haven't taken the white flag yet. They still have another lap after this to run this out, while the leader is not too far behind him.
Jan Hoffman, can he hang on again? Down to the turn number 1. There you see the white flag waving. Wilson looks for the outside, trying to go the long way around. Again, Hoffman fends him off. But Thomas Mustin out of the final corner. Comes to the start-finish line. Dominant day for the Finnish driver. Takes his first win of the season at Interlagos. And the fight for 4th.
But 1 lap. Yeah, led all but 1 lap.
Jan Hoffman still under pressure from Jamie Wilson. Still trying to see if he's got an answer for him. No dice that time by. What about Kinder? Can Kinder be caught? They're going to pass VGO. VGO spun to the final corner. The battle now for 9th and 10th. Kinder going to hang on against the German. And now that leaves just the fight for 4th. Make it 5th.
Ooh. He used a lot of non-racetrack there, but here we go. Here's the run to the checker right here. After this set of corners, and they're going to be on the accelerator the entire time. Here we go.
All-out drag race. Wilson just has to get the nose in front. He can smell it right there. Looking to get around them. Hoffman comes off to the inside. To the outside goes Wilson. To the stride. Drag race. And I think Hoffman just hangs on to take that one by 0.02 of a second of the battle for 5th.
Wow. Great job, guys.
That was awesome. Insane move there, and did everything he needed to do to take that one. Thomas Mustin, meanwhile, going to come home a very, very happy camper at the end of the day. What a wild ride that these drivers have with one another. I mean, I think that is about as wild of a move as you could hope for.
Yeah, they did a great job. It would have been a shame if that ended in contact to go that far into a 71-lap race and to not even see and make it to the finish. So a good job at respecting each other's space, but racing each other very hard.
Take a look at this wild finish and the fight for 4th coming down to the line. And we'll try to get one of the cameras that might show that a little bit better. Well, you know what? This will do as good as any. Down to the wire, and that is how much Jan Hoffman held on for a top 5 finish. Doesn't get much closer than that.
Half a nose cone. Yeah, half a nose cone at best.
Well, Thomas Booston going to bring it home at the end of the afternoon, and we're going to get the chance now to take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. Taking it home, end of the day. It is going to be Thomas Booston absolutely crushing it this afternoon. Cameron Dance comes home number 2 this afternoon with Willis Schwabauer for Iconic Motorsports back in 3rd. Andrew Rubenson 4th with Jan Hoffman in 5th. Jimmy Wilson back in 6th. LaVille, Simmons, Kinder, and Grosser all finishing outside of the lead lap.
We got VJO in 11th, Garrett 12th, Randy Shoemate comes home 13th. That is all the cars that, the continuation of the cars that finished 1 lap down. Eckert and Stum 2 laps down, finishing 14th and 15th. Mellis, final car out there running down 4 laps. Buchanan back in 17th, did not finish. Manzato as well, did not finish. Ethan Hagan did not finish. A day that McBean wants to forget back in 20th at DNF as well. And then rounding out the remainder of the field, Gowd, Barkanal, Turner, Aitken, Santos, Stanley, all DNFs, but that is your 26-car field.
What a race we had this afternoon, and again, absolutely insane racing, I think, from everybody involved, in a race that a lot of drivers can be very, very happy about at the end of the night. And we'll look to get a chit-chat here with the drivers that come home. Numbers, well, I think, numbers, I can't talk all of a sudden. Help me out here. Numbers 1, 2, and 3. There we go. We figured it out eventually. But we'll get the, we'll get a chance to give these guys a talk at the end of the night. And we'll see if Thomas Mustonen is available to join us. Does not look like it. So, and in fact, Willie Schwabauer will not be available to either. So, Gary, we can gang up on Cameron Dance, I guess, as, Thomas Booston never won for the interview booth. Willie Schwabauer is not able to as well. So, we'll do this. We'll bring Cameron Dance into the broadcast booth. And, well, Cam, I think, first and foremost, it has to be said about what a wild race this was here this afternoon. You obviously got caught up by a lap car at the end, kind of going for a little bit of a moment. If that doesn't happen, do you think you run down Thomas with a win?
I think so, based on the fact that, we had a 4K advantage in a straight line, and then also the fact that we were just, we closed down 1 point something seconds to the end of the race after that incident from what was a 4-second gap. After that incident, it was we probably would have had him, which is a little bit frustrating, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and that's motor racing, so those sort of things happen. But at the end of the day, we got on the podium, we got some points, and we finished the race. So it's better than last week, and good way to keep it up for the championship as well.
Hey, my question is also on that incident in 10, and that was with Logan Simmons, kind of perpendicular to the track right in front of you. How much warning did you have on that incident? Did you hear that your spotters say that there's a caution in turn 10, or were you already on top of the caution by the time spotter even said something? And how quickly did you have to act? Otherwise, you would have ran into him.
Pretty much, I was looking at the apex anyway, and I saw him in front of me, and I knew that, I was trying to set it up to avoid any sort of error wash or holding myself up if I was to possibly catch him, right there and then. But after I saw him spin, it was well, we're going a long way around, I guess.
Well, you can thank him for at least holding his brake. He didn't roll back into you.
Yeah.
And, I think overall, Cameron, I think from what I'm reading here, at least on the championship standings, you should be able to take up the points lead here at the end of this one. Do you reckon that's something you might be able to hold in 2 weeks when we swing out to the Brickyard?
I think so. I can't exactly remember what the problems we had at Indy Road Course were last time as far as car balance goes. I know it was really, really hot, so it was a struggle even to begin with. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I know we finished second in the race, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, got a little bit of work to do, but yeah, it's just going to be again trying to get good points, get a podium, I guess, maybe a win if we can, and continue the charge through the championship.
Yeah, I'm seeing the points have been updated. You're going to go to the Indy GP with a 4-point lead, so a slightly bigger advantage you had than coming into this race, only 2 points. But you're going to go with a 4-point lead over Thomas into the Indy GP, and then a 18-point lead over Logan, who is now up into third. So holding on to the lead. I'm not sure if Nolan has any follow-up questions, but I'll just ask you. I mean, shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to for finishing this second place today? It was a long race, so yeah, I'm sure you've definitely earned some time with the microphone, so go right ahead.
Yeah, just obviously shout out to the whole team at Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport for all their support as always, and then obviously everybody that's on the car, Revolution Race Gear, Hybrid Tune, Fight CRC, Demon Tweaks, I Liveries, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Cozy as well. All great supporters for our team, and yeah, good to get on the podium for them.
Well, Cameron, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Congratulations on the number 2, and we will look to see you again when we go racing next week.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
2 weeks from now, my apologies. That was Cameron Dance coming home number 2 this afternoon. No sign of our first or third place finishers here in this one. And again, a very, very solid race that we had throughout the entirety of the afternoon. And I think today's race, like we said, a tamer one, but the tamer ones are good. It gives us a chance to actually kind of get into more of the nuances of all this types of racing, right? Instead of, focusing on all this rapid fire action, we can talk about the growing storylines throughout the course of the season. And there's a big one developing between the 22 and the 1 car to potentially be the champion at the end of the season.
Well, another developing story that I like as well, and it shows the parity of the league, is 3 races, 3 different winners. You don't see very many seasons, even in real racing, start off that way. I broadcasted another league that went 7 for 7 in terms of 7 different winners for the first 7 races, and the rarity of even that happening on the virtual level is about the same as it happening on the real level. I mean, it's literally once every 20 years, once every 40 years type of instances. So we're already off to showing that if you're a good racer here in this league and you got yourself a good strategy and it's your day, that you could possibly get a win here. And so do we see 4 for 4 when we go to Indianapolis here in 2 weeks? I certainly would like to see it, but so far to start this season, we're 3 for 3, 3 races, 3 different winners.
Well, before we can get to the next race here for the Classic IndyCar Series, which will, of course, be in 2 weeks, we've still got more action coming on up. Even just today, 2 more races on the docket for this afternoon. The Blazing Pedals ARCA Series races at the Action Track over at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, while the SRL Xfinity Series will take to Mobility Resort Motegi for round number 10 just half an hour later. On Monday, the High Tide Racing League Guardian Premier Series goes to Bristol at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for their 3rd race of competition. It's the penultimate round of the UMSRL Cup Series at Iowa. The championship still all to play for in a winner-takes grudge match with 2 races to go. Beer League is out in Italy to the Mugello Circuit, with the Speed Cup Series out with their last race of the regular series season at Texas coming up on Thursday. With the SRA NAS Classic ARCA Blitz out for the Auto Club 200 at, well, where else? The Auto Club Speedway coming on up over on Saturday night. All of that and more can be coming on up in just a little while here on Green Flag TV. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. The 2025 Classic IndyCar Series campaign is still early on. There's still a long way to go before we will determine a champion at the end of the year. And once again, this championship not going to be one to forget. My name is Noel Rample alongside Gary Godso. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all in 2 weeks when we go racing in Indy.